being a lifelong fan of Melissa Joan Hart, it would make sense that I would end up watching No Good Nick at some point. For some reason, I didn't even realise this existed until I think earlier this year when I found it on Netflix, and I didn't really jump at it straight away. I saw the trailer, kind of thought, I'll get round to it, added it to my list, finally gave it a chance, and I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with the first episode. I don't quite know how I feel, because there are a lot of mixed emotions because of how much of a roller coaster the first episode is. But absolutely, it is gripping. I won't give any spoilers for the first episode, though maybe towards the end I'll give a spoiler warning and discuss a few specific things. But this first episode was released originally in 2019, and the series is created by Keetgi Kogan and David H. Steinberg. Obviously, this stars Melissa Joan Hart as our mother character, Liz. I will say Melissa Joan Hart in this is really good. Obviously, I watched it for her. Definitely a pull factor for me. But had she not been in it and I watched it anyway, I still would have enjoyed it. So this first episode is called The Catfish, and it's directed by Andy Fickman, and this introduces the Thompson family to Nick, played by Siena Agudong. And basically what happens is the family get a knock on the door. It's a pretty typical family, father, mother, son and daughter. And there's a knock at the door, they answer it, and it's somebody who was living in foster care who the family were supposed to pick up at a station later that day, but they hadn't received the memo. Did we ever find out if it was a literal or figurative memo? I actually don't think we did. But they didn't receive this memo, and suddenly they find out that they're related, several times removed, and they're the only family members for Nick that the social services could find. They didn't know they were meant to be looking after her, but apparently they are, and they don't really have the heart to just turn her away, at least straight away. So they invite her in, and she's now a fifth member of this household. And the first episode is definitely getting to know the characters, primarily Nick, although a good amount of time is spent on the other characters. We have Molly and Jeremy. Molly I really like, very likeable individual. Jeremy I like as well, but he seems to be a bit more passive with Nick, so I'm not sure what's going to come of that character, but I think out of them all, Molly might go through the most character development between Molly and Jeremy. Just a kind of prediction for the way things are going to go, but that's definitely probably going to change really quickly as my opinions of this progress. And does that mean I'm going to continue watching it? I think I have to, because there are so many little red herrings and several little cliffhangers throughout this that leaves us wanting more. Certainly it left me wanting more. All of this is surrounding the character of Nick and what she is really like as an individual. I can't say any more than that without spoiling it. I definitely recommend you don't do any research into what I'm talking about until you watch the first episode, because it will throw up quite a lot of surprises your way. And I think that's something that you'll probably enjoy. I think you'll get a lot out of that. So, spoilers from now. So I will say, just brief overview, really thoroughly enjoyed it. Very well edited, great mix of different locations. I didn't expect to visit Liz's restaurant in the first episode. Usually you'll only be in the house, maybe the school, but to go to a place of work in the first episode when we're still setting things up was a risk, because it could have given us too much information to deal with, but it worked really well. I have no issues with that. Spoiler from now. So when it was revealed that, I feel bad even talking about spoilers, even though I've given a spoiler warning, because it genuinely threw me. When the first time I suspected something was when Nick answered the phone, or phoned and said, I'm in. And I thought, okay, what does that mean? I thought she was maybe talking to a fellow foster child. And then my suspicions were that she was not Nick. She was a different child. But then I remembered the social worker had also been in the house with her, so that couldn't have been the case. Then, of course, we find out that, I feel so wrong saying this out loud, but then found out that the foster carer, that the social worker was actually her current foster carer, and that they are planning on robbing the Thompson family. It does seem a little far-fetched that these foster parents are enlisting the help of a teenage girl to rob this family, but when you think about it, it does kind of make sense. Like, it's kind of a clever idea, a terrible idea, and nobody should ever do it. But when you think about it, it kind of makes sense, because if somebody turned up at your door, and then you believed that the authorities turned up at your door as well and explained everything with paperwork, at least on a temporary basis, you wouldn't throw that child out. You would keep them there and give them a perfect opportunity to rob you. Once I made my peace with that, I thought, all right, this is what this is about. And then when she was on the phone to her father, yeah, now I don't know what's going on at all. I have no idea who to trust. So I'm really, really, really curious to find out what happens. We already get glimmers of Nick's character seeing a better life, which is a bit weird, because from the way she was looking at the picture of her parents, it made it seem like she'd had a good life with them. For whatever reason, that's no longer a thing, but it made it look like she had a happy family environment with them. So she wouldn't really feel the need to steal from another happy family. But when she sees the Thompsons being a happy family and being nice to her and accepting of her, it's like she's seeing a different life that she's never seen before. So I'm kind of confused about her background. But I guess that's kind of the point. There are a lot of unanswered questions. I thought it was really good. Very well done. Definitely left me wanting more. I'm not yet feeling the need to binge watch it. I'm not, completely desperate to find out what happens next. But I do want to find out. So I will be continuing to watch it. There's at least one other season. I'm not sure. I don't really want to look at the episode names or anything on IMDb because I don't want any spoilers. But from what I can see, there are 2 seasons. I don't know if it's been commissioned for a 3rd or if that's it. But if you haven't seen it and you've been tempted to watch it, give it a go. I think you will really thoroughly enjoy it.